Captain Jack Miller stood at attention before the massive curved table where the Galactic Council members sat. The room was cold, and the air felt heavy. 20 different alien species looked down at him from their raised seats. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few glowed with inner light. Jack tried to keep his face calm, but his heart beat fast. "Captain Miller of Earth," said the head counselor, a tall, thin being with gray skin. "The Galactic Council has reached a decision that concerns your species." Jack nodded. "I'm honored to represent humanity, Counselor." The head counselor's 6 fingers tapped on the table. "There is no easy way to say this. As of today, all humans are banned from taking part in any galactic wars or military actions." Jack blinked twice, sure he had heard wrong. "Banned, sir?" "Yes. Banned. This is not a request. It is an order." A murmur ran through the council chamber. Jack noticed several representatives nodding with clear relief on their faces. Others looked away as if embarrassed. "With all respect," Jack said, trying to keep his voice steady, "humans have only fought in 2 galactic wars. We joined the alliance against the Red Star Empire, and we helped stop the beetle swarms. We did our part, just like everyone else." The head counselor raised a hand. "Your understanding of events is limited, Captain." "Then help me understand," Jack said, his voice getting louder. "What did we do wrong? We followed all the rules of war. We never used banned weapons. We treated prisoners well." A blue-skinned council member leaned forward. "It is not what you did wrong, human, it is what you are." Jack's face grew hot. "And what exactly are we?" The head counselor stood up. "This decision is final. Earth forces will return to your solar system within 30 days. You may keep your defense fleet, but no human ships will join alliance battles again." "For how long?" Jack asked. "Forever," said the head counselor. Jack looked around the room, searching for any friendly face. "We have a right to know why." The head counselor's voice turned cold. "For the safety of all civilizations, including your own. This meeting is over." Guards appeared at Jack's sides, not rough, but clearly there to escort him out. As he turned to leave, a small council member with bright orange eyes spoke up. "The human deserves to know." The room went quiet. The head counselor shook his head. "The decision was made. He fought beside my people at the Battle of Proxima Centauri," the orange-eyed alien said. "Many of my kind are still in healing chambers because of it. Not from enemy fire, but from fighting alongside them." Jack turned back. "What does that mean?" "We protected your ships." The orange-eyed council member looked sad. "Yes, and that is part of the problem." The guards moved Jack toward the door. His last view of the council was of beings whispering to each other, some looking afraid, others looking relieved. The doors closed behind him with a heavy sound that felt like the end of something important. 3 hours later, Jack sat in his quarters on the transport ship heading back to Earth. His message to Earth Command had been short. Council meeting ended badly. "Humans banned from galactic conflicts. No clear reason given. Will report in full upon return." His door chimed. "Enter," Jack called. The door slid open to reveal Tom, a blue-skinned Norvian who had fought beside Jack in 2 campaigns. Despite looking like a tall blue human with slightly larger eyes, Tom's species was from a planet 3,000 light-years from Earth. "I heard the news," Tom said, stepping inside. The door closed behind him. Jack waved him to a seat. "Have you come to explain what I apparently can't understand?" Tom sat down carefully. "The Council is afraid, Jack." "Of what?" "Humans have less advanced ships than half the Alliance. We're still new to space compared to most of you." "It's not your ships." Tom's large eyes looked troubled. "It's what happens when humans fight." Jack laughed without humor. "We fight like everyone else. We try to win without losing too many people." Tom shook his head slowly. "No, you don't fight like everyone else. That's the point." Jack stood up and paced the small room. "We've been in space for less than a century. We've fought in only 2 wars. How could we be so different?" Remember the Battle of Proxima Centauri? Tom asked. Of course. Your ships were surrounded. We broke through the enemy line to help you. And do you remember what happened to my squad after fighting next to your teams for 6 hours? Jack stopped pacing. Some of your people got sick. We thought it was a virus. It wasn't a virus. Tom's voice was quiet. It was you. All of you. That makes no sense. Tom stood up and moved to the door. I shouldn't be here, but you saved my life twice, so I owed you some kind of explanation. You haven't explained anything, Jack said. Tom looked back, his hand on the door control. Look up the medical reports from after that battle. Not just for my kind, but for all species who fought close to humans. Then you'll start to understand why the galaxy fears you. After Tom left, Jack sat in silence for a long time. Then he pulled out his tablet and sent a message to his old friend Dr. Lisa Reed. Need access to medical reports from Proxima Centauri battle. Focus on non-human casualties. Something's very wrong. He stared out the viewport at the stars streaming by. Humanity had worked so hard to join the galactic community. They had shared technology, traded goods, learned new languages, and fought side by side with alien allies. Now they were being sent home like children who had misbehaved, but no one would tell them what they had done wrong. This isn't over, Jack whispered to the stars. If there's something about us that scares the Council this much, we need to know what it is. The ship continued its journey toward Earth, carrying news that would shock human leaders and start Jack on a path to uncover the truth behind the ban, a truth about humanity that would change everything. 5 years had passed since the Galactic Council banned humans from all interstellar conflicts. Captain Jack Miller was no longer a captain. The Earth government had created a new department to find out why humans were banned, and Jack now led this small team. Their office was hidden deep under the old city of Denver. The room had no windows, and the walls were lined with screens showing data from across the galaxy. 4 people sat around a round table, all wearing serious faces. It's been 5 years, said Marcus Jones, tapping his fingers on the table. Once the best intelligence officer in Earth's fleet, Marcus now used his skills to gather secret information. 5 years, and we still don't have clear answers. Dr. Lisa Reed nodded, her eyes tired from studying alien medical reports. We know something happened at Proxima Centauri, but the medical data is heavily protected. I've only managed to get small pieces. Alex White, who had been a diplomat before joining Jack's team, looked up from his tablet. The council members still refuse to meet with us. Even our old allies avoid talking about the ban. Jack stood up and walked to the main screen. Today, that changes. Marcus has found something. Marcus smiled and pressed a button on his wrist device. The main screen lit up with a video. This is from the Battle of Proxima Centauri. It took me 3 years to find this footage. The team watched as the video showed a battle in space. Ships fired at each other with bright beams of energy. Then, the view changed to inside one of the ships. This is a human ship, Jack said, pointing at the crew members. Yes, Marcus said. But watch what happens when the battle gets intense. The video showed human soldiers fighting harder and harder as the battle got worse. Their movements became faster, their eyes more focused. They worked together in ways that seemed almost impossible. Now watch this, Marcus said, changing to another video. This is inside a Norvian ship during the same battle. The blue-skinned aliens fought bravely at first, but after fighting near humans for hours, something strange happened. The Norvians began to shake. Some fell to the ground. Others fired their weapons too quickly, wasting energy. They're breaking down, Lisa said quietly. Just like the medical report suggested. Marcus nodded. And it happened to every alien species that fought alongside humans for more than 4 hours. Alex leaned forward. But why? What are we doing to them? Jack turned off the video. That's what we need to find out, and I think I know where to look next. He pointed to a small dot on a star map. Station Alpha 7. It holds the Galactic Archives. Lisa's eyes widened. That's the most secure facility in the Alliance. No humans are allowed there anymore. Exactly, Jack said. Which means that's where they keep the truth. 3 weeks later, Jack's team arrived at Station Alpha 7 on a trade ship. They wore special masks that changed how they looked, making them appear as members of the trawl species, tall beings with gray skin. Remember, Jack whispered as they walked through the busy station. We have 8 hours before the masks stop working. We need to be gone by then. The team split up. Marcus went to find the security center. Lisa headed for the medical archives. Alex made his way to the diplomatic records section. Jack would try to access the military files. Jack moved through the quiet halls of the archive, his fake gray hands pressing against scanner panels that opened doors. His stolen access codes worked perfectly. Finally, he reached the military records room. I'm in, he said quietly into his hidden communicator. Medical archives accessed. Lisa's voice came back. There's so much data here, Jack. I'm searching for Proxima Centauri reports now. Security systems mapped, Marcus added. I can buy us extra time if needed. Diplomatic records are heavily guarded, Alex said, sounding worried. But I've found a terminal I can use. Jack began searching through the military files. Most were locked with high-level codes, but he had prepared for this. He attached a small device to the computer terminal. The screen flickered, and suddenly, more files appeared. I found something, he said. Battle statistics from all conflicts involving humans. He downloaded the data quickly, his eyes scanning the numbers. This is strange. According to these reports, human-led squads were 300% more effective than predicted. That's impossible. Jack, Lisa's voice came through excited. I found medical reports. They show unusual brain patterns in aliens who fought with humans. Their minds were somehow being pushed beyond normal limits. The diplomatic records show secret meetings after Proxima Centauri, Alex added. The council was scared. They called it the human factor and classified everything about it. The human factor? Jack repeated. Can you copy those files? Working on it, Alex said. Then his voice changed. Someone's coming. I think they've... A loud alarm started blaring throughout the station. We've been discovered, Marcus said, his voice tense. Security teams are moving toward Alex's position. Alex, get out of there, Jack ordered, disconnecting his device from the terminal. Too late, Alex replied. But I got the files. Sending them to your devices now. Get to the ship. Jack ran through the halls, his heart pounding. The mask on his face felt hot, a warning that it might fail soon. He turned a corner and nearly ran into 2 security guards. Excuse me, he said, trying to sound calm. What's happening? Intruder alert, one guard said. All non-essential personnel should return to their quarters. Jack nodded and walked past them, forcing himself not to run. As soon as they were out of sight, he sprinted toward the docking area. Lisa and Marcus were already there, waiting by the trade ship. Their faces showed their worry. Where's Alex? Lisa asked. He'll make it, Jack said, but he wasn't sure. The minutes passed slowly. The alarm continued to sound. Then, just as Jack was about to give up hope, Alex appeared, running toward them, with 3 guards chasing him. Go, Alex shouted. I'll hold them off. No, Jack yelled, but Marcus pulled him into the ship. He knew the risks, Marcus said, starting the launch sequence. Through the viewport, they watched as Alex fought the guards, giving them time to escape. The last thing they saw before the ship pulled away was Alex being surrounded by security forces. He sacrificed himself for the mission, Lisa said quietly as the ship accelerated away from the station. Jack stared at the small data device in his hand. Then we'd better make sure his sacrifice wasn't wasted. Let's see what's in these files called the human factor. As their ship raced toward their hidden base on Titan, Jack couldn't help feeling that they were about to discover something about humanity that would change everything they thought they knew about themselves. The small ship landed quietly on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Jack, Lisa, and Marcus stepped out into the dome that protected their secret base from the moon's harsh environment. Through the clear ceiling, Saturn's rings glowed against the black sky. I still can't believe we left Alex behind, Lisa said, her voice low. Jack placed a hand on her shoulder. He made his choice. Now we need to make it count. The base was small but well equipped. The main room had several computer stations and a large table in the center. Marcus went straight to the main computer and inserted the data device. The files are encrypted, he said, his fingers moving quickly over the keyboard. But nothing I can't handle. Jack paced the room while they waited. Alex called these files the human factor. What could that possibly mean? Lisa sat down at another station. Whatever it is, it made the Council ban our entire species from galactic conflicts. It must be serious. Got it, Marcus shouted after an hour of work. The main screen lit up with dozens of files. Let's see what we have here. The first files were medical reports, similar to what Lisa had found but more detailed. They showed brain scans of different alien species before and after fighting alongside humans. Look at these patterns, Lisa said, pointing to colorful images of alien brains. Their neural activity is completely different after combat with humans nearby. Marcus opened another file. This one showed videos from various battles. The team watched in silence as human soldiers fought. The videos had special data overlays showing heart rates, brain activity, and other measurements. What are we looking for? Jack asked. Wait for it, Marcus said, pointing at the screen. There. The data showed something strange happening to the humans as the battles got more intense. Their brain patterns changed. Their bodies released chemicals. Their movements became more coordinated. They're calling it combat escalation drive, Lisa said, reading from another file. Apparently it's unique to humans. Jack frowned. Combat escalation drive? What does that mean? Lisa opened more medical files and studied them. According to these reports, when most alien species fight, they reach a certain level of intensity and then plateau. Their bodies have natural limits that prevent them from pushing too hard. But humans don't have these limits? Jack asked. No, Lisa said, her voice filled with wonder. Humans keep escalating. The longer and harder the fight, the more intense we become. We enter what they're calling the zone, a mental state that other species physically cannot achieve. Marcus pulled up comparison charts. Look at these statistics. In every battle, human performance increased the longer the fighting continued. All other species either maintained their level or decreased due to fatigue. Jack sat down heavily, in a chair. So we keep getting better as the fight goes on. Is that really so scary? Lisa's face had gone pale as she read more files. Jack, it's not just about us. When we fight alongside other species, we somehow push them past their natural limits too. We make them better fighters? Jack asked. We break them, Lisa said, quietly. Their minds aren't built to handle our level of combat intensity. That's why the Norvians at Proxima Centauri collapsed. Fighting near humans forced their minds into patterns they couldn't sustain. Marcus opened another file. This one showed footage of an enemy ship surrendering to a human vessel, even though the enemy still had superior numbers and firepower. It wasn't just our allies, Marcus said. Enemy forces would rather surrender than face humans in extended combat. We scared them that badly. Jack remembered the orange-eyed council members' words. Many of my kind are still in healing chambers, because of it. Not from enemy fire, but from fighting alongside them. Now it makes sense, Jack said. The council didn't ban us because we were bad at fighting. They banned us because we were too good in a way that hurt everyone else. Lisa nodded. For thousands of years, the galaxy has had a certain way of fighting wars. Limited conflicts, with clear rules. Species reach their maximum fighting ability. Then the side with better technology or numbers usually wins. But humans break that pattern, Marcus added. We keep escalating until we win or die trying, and we pull others along with us, damaging them in the process. Jack stood up and walked to a viewport looking out at the stars. So the galaxy had nice, controlled wars until humans showed up and fought like humans. Exactly, Lisa said. The files show the Council was terrified after Proxima Centauri. Some members wanted to quarantine Earth completely. Marcus opened the final file, which contained minutes from a secret Council meeting. Listen to this. The human combat escalation ability disrupts the balance of conflict that is maintained. Galactic peace for millennia. If left unchecked, all future wars involving humans will result in total victory or total defeat, with unacceptable casualties on all sides. The room fell silent as the team processed what they had learned. "They're afraid of us," Jack finally said. "Not because we're evil, but because we fight differently than anyone else in the galaxy. And because we change how others fight when they're around us," Lisa added. "We're like a combat infection, spreading our intensity to allies and enemies alike." Marcus shut down the files. "So what do we do with this information? Go public? The Earth government might see this as a compliment, not a problem." Jack shook his head. "No. The galaxy banned us for a reason. If we just announce this to everyone, it could make things worse." He turned to face his team. "We need to understand more. Not just how we're different, but why. And most importantly, if there's a way we can fight alongside others without harming them." Lisa nodded. "I'll start analyzing the medical data in more detail. Maybe there's a way to shield other species from our influence." "And I'll keep digging," Marcus said. "There might be more files we haven't found yet." Jack looked back at the stars. Something about this still bothered him. Humans had fought wars among themselves for thousands of years. They had always been intense, escalating fighters. It was part of who they were. Could they really change that? Should they? Before he could share these thoughts, an alarm sounded. Marcus rushed to the computer. "Emergency broadcast from Earth," he said, his voice tense. "Something's attacking systems on the edge of Alliance space. Something big." The screen showed distant images of entire planets being consumed by a dark cloud. "It's called the Void Swarm," Marcus read from the report. "And Alliance forces are failing to stop it." Jack looked at his team. "This changes everything. The galaxy banned us from their wars. But what happens when they start losing one?" The news about the Void Swarm spread quickly. Jack and his team watched report after report on their screens. The Void Swarm wasn't an army or a species. It was more like a hungry cloud of darkness that ate everything in its path. Planets, ships, even stars weren't safe. 3 systems gone in 2 weeks, Marcus said, pointing to a map. "The Alliance fleet is trying to stop it, but nothing works for long." Lisa studied the reports. "It's adapting to their weapons. Each attack works once, then the swarm changes to defend against it." Jack paced the room. "And Earth? Are we in danger?" "Not yet," Marcus replied. "The swarm is still far away, but if it keeps moving at this speed and the Alliance can't stop it..." Jack didn't need him to finish the sentence. They all knew what it meant. "We need to contact Earth Command," Jack said. "They need to know what we've learned about the human combat factor. It might be important now." 2 days later, Jack stood before the Earth Defense Council in a secure room deep under the old United Nations building in New York. The room was filled with military leaders and government officials, all with worried faces. "Captain Miller," said General Patel, head of Earth's Defense Forces. "Your report about why humans were banned is interesting, but why is it important now?" Jack stepped forward. "Because the Void Swarm is beating the Alliance, and we might be the only ones who can stop it." Murmurs filled the room. Admiral Wright, an older woman with short gray hair, spoke up. "The Alliance banned us. Why would they ask for our help now?" "They haven't asked yet," Jack admitted, "but they will. The question is, what will we say when they do?" General Patel frowned. "Are you suggesting we should help the same people who sent us away?" Jack nodded. "Yes, but with conditions. We know why they fear us now. We can use that knowledge to help without harming our allies." He explained what his team had discovered about the human combat escalation drive and how it affected other species. The room was silent when he finished. "So we fight too hard for them," Admiral Wright said finally. "And we make them fight too hard too." "Exactly," Jack replied. "But Dr. Reed has an idea that might help." He nodded to Lisa, who stepped forward. Lisa held up a small device. "This is a neural buffer. It creates a field that should protect alien minds from the effects of human combat escalation. It won't stop us from fighting at our best, but it should keep our allies safe. Before anyone could respond, an aide rushed into the room and handed General Patel a message. The general read it, his face growing serious. "It seems you were right, Captain Miller," he said. "The Galactic Council has called an emergency meeting. They want to talk about temporarily lifting the ban on human forces." 3 days later, Jack found himself back in the Galactic Council chamber. This time, he wasn't alone. General Patel stood beside him, along with Lisa and a team of Earth's best military minds. The chamber felt different now. The council members didn't look down on the humans with disgust or fear. Instead, their faces showed something new: desperation. The head counselor spoke first. "The Alliance faces an unprecedented threat. The Void Swarm has destroyed 5 systems and shows no signs of stopping. Our forces are—" He paused. "Not sufficient." "You mean they're losing?" General Patel said bluntly. The head counselor nodded. "Yes, we are losing. And so, with great reluctance, we are considering a temporary exception to the human ban." Jack stepped forward. "We've learned why you banned us, we understand your concerns, and we have a solution." Lisa explained the neural buffers and how they would work. The council listened carefully, some members showing the first signs of hope. "If these buffers work," the orange-eyed counselor said, "we could fight together without the harmful effects we saw at Proxima Centauri." "That's the idea," Jack said. "Let us help you. Let us do what we do best." After hours of debate, the council agreed. A small human force would join the next battle against the swarm, with Lisa's neural buffers in place and strict oversight from the council. 2 weeks later, Jack stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defender, leading a fleet of 20 human vessels. Around them, ships from a dozen Alliance species formed a battle line against the approaching Void Swarm. "Neural buffers active on all ships," Lisa reported from her station. "All weapons ready," Marcus added from Tactical. Jack looked at the dark cloud appearing on their screens. It moved like a living thing, reaching out with tendrils of darkness toward the Alliance ships. "Remember," Jack said to his crew, "we fight our way, but we watch out for our allies. The buffers should help, but let's be careful." The battle began. Human ships dove into the fight with the intensity that came naturally to them. The neural buffers glowed on Alliance ships, creating a barrier between them and the human combat. Influence. For the first few hours, it worked perfectly. The human ships hit the swarm hard, finding weaknesses and exploiting them. Alliance ships followed up, protected by the buffers, but then something changed. The swarm adapted, just as it had before. New patterns formed in the dark cloud, targeting the human ship specifically. "It's learning," Marcus shouted over the alarms. "It's focusing on us now." Jack watched as 3 human ships were surrounded by the darkness. Then he saw something even worse. Several Alliance ships had moved in to help the surrounded humans. Their neural buffers were flickering, failing under the strain. "Pull back," Jack ordered. "All human ships, pull back. The buffers aren't holding." But it was too late for some. On his screen, Jack saw Alliance ships where the buffers had failed completely. The alien crews were fighting with human-like intensity, now pushing beyond their limits. When the battle finally ended, the Alliance had pushed the swarm back, but at a terrible cost. 5 human ships were lost, along with 12 Alliance vessels. And worst of all, hundreds of alien crew members were suffering from neural damage, just like after Proxima Centauri. In the medical bay of the Defender, Jack watched as Lisa checked on injured Alliance soldiers who had been rescued. "The buffers weren't strong enough," she said sadly. "When the swarm adapted its attack, the stress was too much." Jack nodded. "And now we're back where we started. The Alliance won a battle but lost too many people. And once again, it's because of us." Marcus entered the medical bay, his face grim. "The swarm has changed direction. It's regrouping, getting stronger. The Alliance fleet is falling back to regroup too." Jack looked at the injured aliens in the medical bay, then at his own tired crew. The swarm was learning, adapting, and the one advantage humans had, their unique way of fighting, couldn't be used without hurting their allies. "We need a new plan," Jack said quietly. "Something the Council won't like, but might be our only choice." "What are you thinking?" Lisa asked. Jack's eyes were determined. If we can't fight alongside the Alliance without hurting them, then maybe we need to fight alone. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was tense. After the failed battle against the Void Swarm, many council members wanted to reinstate the ban on humans immediately. The head counselor had to bang his gavel several times to quiet the angry voices. Jack stood before them, his face showing the tiredness of someone who had seen too much fighting. Behind him stood General Patel, Lisa, and Marcus. The neural buffers failed, the orange-eyed counselor said. Once again, alien crews suffered because of human influence. We understand that, Jack said, and that's why we're proposing something different. General Patel stepped forward. We suggest creating an all-human force to engage the swarm directly. No mixed crews, no alliance ships nearby. Just humans fighting the way humans fight best. The room erupted with voices. The head counselor finally restored order. You want us to unleash a pure human fighting force? He asked, his voice filled with disbelief. The very thing we have worked so hard to prevent? Yes, Jack said simply, because it's the only way to beat the swarm. A tall, thin counselor with green skin stood up. And what happens after? If we create an unstoppable human war machine, what's to prevent you from turning on the rest of us? Jack looked around the room, realizing the deep fear these beings had of humans. You've only seen half of what makes humans unique, he said. You've seen our escalation in battle, but you've missed something just as important. He nodded to Lisa, who activated a display in the center of the chamber. Images appeared, showing scenes from Earth's history. These are from wars on our planet, Jack explained. Look what happens after these conflicts ended. The images showed former enemies helping each other rebuild. Soldiers who had fought each other now working together to build homes and schools. Former battlefields turned into parks, where children played. Humans have a unique ability to escalate violence when threatened, Jack said. But we also have a unique ability to de-escalate when the threat is gone. We can stand down voluntarily even at the height of our power. The council members watched in silence as more images appeared. Peace treaties being signed. Former enemies becoming allies. Weapons being destroyed in public ceremonies. This is our true nature, Jack continued. Not just how we fight, but how we stop fighting. We call it our de-escalation mechanism, the ability to turn away from war once victory is achieved. Lisa stepped forward. In our research, we found this trait is as unique to humans as our combat escalation. Other species either continue fighting until forced to stop, or never reach our level of intensity in the first place. The orange-eyed counselor leaned forward. Are you saying humans can control this combat drive? Yes, Jack said firmly. We can turn it on when needed and turn it off when the job is done. General Patel added, we don't want to rule the galaxy, we just want to help save it. Let us fight the swarm our way, and when it's over, we'll stand down. You have my word, as the leader of Earth's defense forces. The council withdrew to debate. Hours passed as Jack and his team waited outside the chamber. Finally, they were called back in. The head counselor looked tired but determined. We have decided to accept your proposal with conditions. A human-only force will engage the swarm, with council monitors observing from a safe distance. But at the first sign that humans cannot or will not de-escalate after victory, the council will take extreme measures. Jack nodded. We understand. And we accept. 3 weeks later, a fleet of 100 human ships formed a battle line before the advancing void swarm. Every ship was crewed entirely by humans. There were no allies nearby, no one to be affected by human combat intensity. From the bridge of the flagship Freedom, Jack watched the swarm approach. It had grown larger, consuming 2 more systems since the last battle. All ships report ready, Marcus said from his station. Neural scan shows all crews at optimal readiness, Lisa added. The council observation ship is at safe distance. Jack took a deep breath. This is it. Let's show them what humans can really do. All ships engage at will. The battle that followed would become legendary in the history of the galaxy. Human ships fought with an intensity never seen before. As the battle grew harder, the humans pushed themselves further. When the swarm adapted to their tactics, they created new ones on the spot. Hour after hour, the battle raged. The swarm tried to surround them, tried to pick off ships one by one, tried to flee and regroup, but the human fleet stayed with it, never letting up, never reaching that plateau that other species hit. From the observation ship, the council members watched in awe and fear as humans demonstrated the full extent of their combat capabilities, without any restraint. Finally, after 18 hours of non-stop fighting, the swarm began to break apart. Its adaptive patterns failed against the constantly changing human attacks. Ship after ship reported successful strikes against the swarm's core units. "We've got them," Marcus shouted as the swarm's main body began to collapse in on itself. Jack watched the final moments of the battle. The swarm, which had destroyed entire systems and defeated the best the Alliance could offer, was dying before his eyes. Then came the moment the Council feared most, the moment when humans, at the height of their battle frenzy, had achieved total victory. Jack closed his eyes briefly, then opened them with a new calmness. "All ships, this is Captain Miller. The swarm is defeated. Stand down from combat operations. I repeat, stand down. Activate de-escalation protocols." Across the human fleet, crews that had been pushing themselves to the edge of human capability began the practiced process of standing down. Special breathing techniques, meditation, and trained mental exercises helped them step back from the combat mindset. On the Council observation ship, monitors showed human vital signs returning to normal, brain patterns shifting away from combat mode, heart rate slowing. The head counselor turned to his colleagues. "They're actually doing it. They're standing down, just as they promised." 1 month later, Jack stood once again before the Galactic Council. This time he was welcomed as a hero. The head counselor's voice was solemn. "The galaxy owes humans a debt we can never fully repay. You have saved countless lives and worlds." Jack nodded. "And now, as promised, our fleet has returned to Earth space. The human combat force has been disbanded." "That is remarkable," the orange-eyed counselor said. "Your species keeps surprising us." The head counselor stood. "We have reached a new decision regarding humans. The complete ban on human military involvement is lifted. Instead, humans will serve as special crisis responders, called upon only in the most dire circumstances." Jack smiled. "We accept this role with honor." As the meeting ended, the orange-eyed counselor approached Jack privately. "Now we understand everything about you humans," he said. "You weren't banned because you were dangerous in war. You were banned because we couldn't comprehend a species capable of both such extreme escalation and complete voluntary de-escalation. That's what makes us human," Jack replied simply. The counselor nodded. "And that's what terrifies and inspires us. Your capacity for violence frightens us, but your ability to choose peace gives us hope. Perhaps in time we can learn from each other." As Jack left the council chamber, he thought about humanity's new place in the galaxy. They would no longer be feared and misunderstood, but respected for their unique abilities. The ban had been lifted not because the galaxy had changed, but because they finally understood what humans truly were. Creatures of both war and peace, capable of fighting with unmatched intensity and then putting their weapons down by choice. It was a new beginning for humanity among the stars.